Beth Mitchell, brain cancer, age 22, ovarian cancer, age 37. Well, when I was first diagnosed, I was 22 years old. I had been married 1 year and in my first professional job only for 1 year. And so a diagnosis of malignant brain tumor was quite devastating. And I was not given a very good prognosis at that point, only because there was not a lot of technology available. Chemo was in the beginning, and so there were in a quandary as to how to deal with it. So I was sort of out there in no man's land because it was 1974.
Do you remember the day you were diagnosed?
Absolutely. I was being treated for the flu by a family doctor, and I got sicker and sicker over just a week's time. And he finally was exasperated and said, "You need to see a neurologist." And so we made an appointment with a neurologist. I went there that day, and he looked in my eyes, and he immediately walked me across the street to the hospital. I was in the throes of a cerebral hemorrhage. And in retrospect, many people die of cerebral hemorrhages. A cerebral hemorrhage actually saved my life. They didn't know why I was hemorrhaging at that point, but they immediately gave me a spinal tap. I still remember the clothing I had on. I do take pride in that I fought, and I think I fought hard, and I fought well, and for whatever reason, I don't take credit for a cure, but I did what I was asked to do, and I was able to get through it. And so my sister and I, we come from strong German stock, and we often joke with each other that you can't keep a strong German woman down. I am Beth Mitchell. I am 63 years old, and I am a cancer survivor.
Gail Russell, breast cancer, age 40.
My younger sister then contracted a very aggressive form of breast cancer in 2001, and she was hospitalized in Christiana, and they were concerned at that point with my family history and asked my sister and I to participate in a genetic study. And we agreed because of the types of cancer that we had. And both my sister and I have a genetic mutation in our PTEN gene, which is, I believe, the tumor suppressor gene. And that's why, in retrospect, it was very difficult to diagnose her cancer and mine. And as of a couple of years ago, and I haven't talked to anybody in this study, it's a longitudinal study, but we were the only siblings in this study, which made it interesting. No rhyme nor reason as to why both of us share the same genetic mutation.
My name is Gail Russell. I am 55 years old, and I am a cancer survivor.
Andrew Menon, testicular cancer, age 31. The most amazing thing is that it's a really bizarre club of amazing people going through extraordinary circumstances. And I can say that I was overwhelmed by how many friends and family and acquaintances just went so far out of their way to help me out through the whole thing. And you know, my story was very, very simple. I had at stage 1. My life was not really threatened. I had less than 10% chance to die. So for me, I was expected to make a full recovery. You know, other people aren't that lucky. I lost 2 friends in the same year. I lost 2 friends that died from very rare and extremely dangerous cancers. So my takeaway is cancers are, there's so many different stages, there's so many different types, but I think what unites us is we really respect time with the people who we care about, and we really respect each and every day. We don't take for granted, and really go after what we really want to do, and really spend time with doing the things that we love and spending time with the people that we do love. It really taught me to focus on the time that I have, and it really taught me to focus on silence. Things can get so stressful, and there's so many different ideas and things to do, and all these things that, me kind of taking 15-20 minutes to just sit and meditate and tune into my body. And I found this even through the whole surgery, the extreme pain I was in afterwards. No matter what, I would meditate. And what I realized is that the pain is inevitable. There's going to be pain in life. But the suffering, my own mental suffering, that is optional. My name is Andrew Menon. I am 32 years old, and I am a cancer survivor.
Brian Swerzik, leukemia, age 34. In June 1989, I was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. I was 9 years old at the time. I didn't know what leukemia was, so my reaction to the diagnosis wasn't quite as emotional as my parents was. I remember them being very upset when they told me that I would need to be hospitalized, but they reassured me and my two younger brothers that I would go to the hospital, I get medicine, and I get better. So I was admitted to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and there I received chemotherapy treatment. But by late August, my bone marrow was in a condition of aplastic anemia. And at the time, CHOP didn't have a protocol for treating leukemia patients that had aplastic anemia. So my parents and doctors need to decide on another hospital that could treat me. And they decided on the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center, located in Seattle, Washington. The donor of the bone marrow was my very own father. Even though we weren't an exact match, my body accepted his marrow, and it was a successful transplant. Shortly thereafter, in December, I was able to go home, so me and my family were together for Christmas of that year. And from that point on, I need to get periodic checkups at CHOP, but I eventually fully recovered. And 18 years after my transplant, I went back to Seattle. I lived there for 4 years, and during that time I met my wife, and she gave birth to our son in a hospital that was only blocks away from where I got my bone marrow transplant. If there's one thing I took from my experience is I know that miracles do happen. My name is Brian Swerzik. I'm 34 years old, and I'm a cancer survivor.